Welcome back to the Choose UCalgary Podcast. I'm your Season 8 host, Karah, and today we are going to speak with Marcella and Luis from International Student Services to talk about the different services and programs available for international students at the University of Calgary. So I think we're just going to start with a quick introduction of both of you and your title and your roles in International Student Services.
Yeah, so my name is Marcella Ducasis. I'm one of the International Student Support Advisors at International Student Services. And part of what I do is I coordinate the International Mentorship Program. I also coordinate the Global Families Program and International Student Orientation and the pre-arrival as well.
Hi, my name is Luis. I'm an international student from Mexico, and I'm majoring in political science. This year, I have the great opportunity to serve ISS as the co-op student, and I assist with the social programming of the offices as well as perform administrative tasks across different portfolios.
Nice. Yeah, that's really exciting. It's really exciting to have a student on the podcast as well who's involved in International Student Services. So are you able to provide students with some background information on ISS and the different services that they offer international students on campus?
Yeah, so International Student Services, commonly referred to as ISS, we provide, essentially the students have already paid into these fees for these services. So we provide programs and services, advising to all international students just to make sure that they feel supported and make sure that they succeed here, not just in adapting to the University of Calgary, but also adapting to life in Canada.
Definitely.
Yeah.
No, I've had a peek at your guys' as website, and it seems that you always have something going on, and there's always something for international students to get involved with, which is really, really great. And then Luis, because you're an international student at the University of Calgary and a part of the student staff at ISS as a co-op student, are you able to speak a little bit more about that experience and what you've gained by being part of International Student Services?
Yeah, sure. Just to give a background about the co-op program. So it's an opportunity that most students across the U of C have to enhance their degree. It allows them to work on a full-time basis once they are admitted into the program and can undertake different positions within the university and outside companies or organizations. I had the opportunity to apply to ISS and very lucky to was admitted into the ISS office. Basically, I have been able to help different students. First of all, with my experience as an international student, I transition just like many of them are right now and in the future. Most of the services that we provide are highly valuable for everyone. As Marcella has mentioned, there's different transitional supports available to students. So the most meaningful thing about working at International Student Services is providing that transitional support and all the information and resources that are available for students. I think it's paramount for any student to get to know the services that they have available at ISS and across other offices at the U of C. So basically, I have been, really fortunate to provide my own experience to students and make them feel more comfortable as they settle in Calgary and at the U of C.
Yeah, and I'm sure that it's helped to work with new and incoming students quite often. Are you able to speak a little bit about how, like, the specific instances where you work with new and incoming students?
Yes, so every term over the past few years, we have offered students what is known as the Welcome Center, which is a temporary hub that offers different resources and guidance to students. So over the past fall, winter, we had over 500 students visiting us, which is a pretty high number, and we offer guidance on the different support systems that are available. We offer information as to what steps they need to take in order to settle in Calgary. We explain the healthcare system. That's one of the main questions that we get. Students are interested in knowing what kind of coverage they have. Mm-hmm. We further explain other services provided by the city, such as how to travel across Calgary through the transit system. So that program that we offer every term has been really successful in bridging students to just be more comfortable at UCalgary and students feel that they're getting that support through the ISS office.
Yeah, definitely. Those kind of extra things that you don't really think about coming to Calgary as a city instead of just the University of Calgary can be a big one. And then Marcella, what advice would you give to international students thinking of choosing the University of Calgary?
So choosing the University of Calgary, I mean, we are located in the heart of the Rocky Mountains. I think a lot of students choose University of Calgary, not just for the reputation that it has academically, but for the location. Many students want to experience that kind of nature, and so a lot of students, that's one of the first things they want to do is go to Banff and see it for themselves. So I think we are in a beautiful city, and we are still quite an attractive city to live in. We have a variety of things to do in this city.
Yeah. I always say to students, you're never going to get bored. There's always something going on. There's always something happening in Calgary. Now, kind of moving into one of the phases that international students will kind of encounter when they're coming to the University of Calgary would be like their pre-arrival. So for international students' knowledge, how early can they connect with the International Student Services after submitting an application to the University of Calgary?
So they can connect essentially as soon as they accept the offer from the University of Calgary. And in those early days, their questions are going to be around immigration related. So they will have questions about how to apply for study permits, what travel documents they will need to bring. So these are, our support is already there from the start, so they can access immigration advising, and that's typically the first point of contact that they have with our office.
Definitely. And then what are some of the different services that International Student Services provides international students with before they arrive in Calgary to start their classes in September?
Yeah, so one of the main resources they have is the pre-arrival program, which is access through the D2L shell. It is a wealth of information from everything from weather in Calgary to transportation system to healthcare system. We even have recordings on the culture, navigating culture shock and all of those things. And so they can start accessing that as soon as they have the UCalgary email set up. A few days after that, they will be automatically enrolled in the pre-arrival program, and they can start accessing all of that information. And then the second part that they can access right at that time is the international student orientation sessions. So right now, for example, for the incoming winter 2024, we're doing we did 5 sessions this month in December. So just to prepare students ahead of time.
And it's nice that that's all kind of available in that like online format, so students can access that at any time of day, no matter where they are. That's really nice. And then kind of last in the pre-arrival section here, what are the most important things that students will need to have organized before they travel to Canada, and how can International Student Services support students with that?
So I would say that travel documents are the most important, because those are the types of things that if you make a mistake, it's really, really hard to fix those mistakes later on. And so that's why we put such an emphasis on, we just had our How to Prepare for Your Arrival session yesterday, which is our longest session. It's 2 hours and it's very information heavy, but it's really important that students understand what to expect when they arrive at the port of entry, what is the immigration officer going to ask for, and that you have all your documents lined up. It also, you would need to be prepared as far as how much cash to bring, making sure you have credit cards that will work in Canada, because of course you're going to need to eat at the airport, you're going to need to pay for your ride share or taxi from the airport, so you need to have enough funds for that. You also need to make sure you have medical insurance, because travel insurance, because when you arrive here, you will be eligible, if you're a full-time student, for the Alberta healthcare insurance, but not in transit. It will not cover you in that journey coming here, and we want to make sure students are protected from anything that could happen in that situation.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, it's all of those just little things that you don't really think about until you realize that it's super important to kind of have those things. And it's great to have those like sessions, those long sessions that are information heavy in order to provide students with all that information.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Yeah. And then moving a little bit more into the arrival section. So once students have landed in Canada and are coming to the University of Calgary, I know that ISS offers many different forms of advising for international students, including immigration. Are you able to speak more about immigration advising as well as the different types of student supports that students will receive from the international specific advising opportunities?
Sure. So we do have on staff a regulated Canadian immigration consultant, which in Canada you legally need to have that designation to give advice on immigration. And so students have access to meet one-on-one with that staff member and ask any questions related to immigration. They can email as well our ISS email for any questions that are just a quick question. We also have 2 advisors, transition support advisors, so that's myself and Isabel, and we can meet with students with regards to any questions around adaptation into Canada, transition tasks related to your settlement, including, as Luis mentioned, getting a bank account, Canadian bank account open, Canadian cell phone plan, how to register for the Alberta Healthcare Insurance Plan. So all of those things. Housing, like I mentioned, that's been a big one that we've been meeting with students. So anything like that, we are available to students. So if they've gone through all of our resources on our webpage and they still having trouble navigating, they have that option as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really nice to have the different options for advising, and many different people to speak to and everything like that. I know we personally in the recruitment field get a lot of questions about immigration, and we're always like, talk to International Student Services, go and talk to International Student Services, because you are the guys who can actually speak on that topic.
Right.
Yeah. And then Luis, are you able to speak to the different events and opportunities that international students have to connect, not only to International Student Services, but also to other international students on campus?
Yeah, so I would highlight the 3 main programs that we currently have right now. We have the Global Friendships event, which is a program that aims to connect international students with Canadian students. So they're open to all UCalgary students. We hosted actually our Christmas ornament decoration event yesterday, and it was a pretty successful event. Students had the opportunity to decorate some Christmas ornaments while they engage with other Canadian and international students. The other program that we offer is the International Student Mentorship Program, which is run by Marcella, as she mentioned. So in that program, we pair incoming international students, first-year international students, with upper-year students, whether they are international students or Canadian students, and that gives them the opportunity to connect with someone that is already a student that most likely went through the same experiences as they are going through. So in that program, we offer a couple of welcome receptions that allows them to connect with other participants within the program, and on a recurring basis, we also offer what are known as sharing events, which are only open for the mentorship program participants. And we also have the Global Families program, which is open for those international students and their families to be able to connect with other families at UCalgary. And next term, ISS will be relaunching their Global Speak, USpeak program that consists of a language sharing experiences between students. So far this term, we offer roughly 13 events over the Global Friendships program, as well as the International Student Mentorship program. Global Families also has different events on a recurring basis, and next term we'll be offering many more opportunities for students to connect with one another and just forget a little bit about the stresses that academics might bring to their life.
Definitely, yeah. Having that like personal connection opportunities can really help students, especially international students who may be away from their support system, to find a new support system or to connect with other people. That person-to-person connection is really, it can be underrated sometimes, and it's really important. Have you received an offer to the University of Calgary and are wondering what to do next? Join us for our Newly Admitted Student Series. The Newly Admitted Student webinars will help walk you through what your next steps are for accepting your offer and picking your classes. Are you interested in visiting the UCalgary campus? Register for one of our Newly Admitted Student Tours to show you the most important spots to know about as a new student. Register at the link in our show notes. And then either one of you, I know that the International Student Services offers many different transition services, including the orientation for new international students, which includes sessions on how to adjust to living in the new city, and like you said, weather in Calgary. Do you both have a session that's your favorite or the one that you suggest all international students take place in?
Well, it's funny because we were just discussing in our staff meeting that we want to make 3 of those sessions kind of mandatory, or at least we would require students to finish those sessions before we open up the rest of the course. And the reason for that is because we do think they are really important, and those are the how to prepare for your arrival, the finding housing in Calgary, and the third one has to do with transitioning to a Canadian classroom. So those 3 we feel are really, really key for student success. However, I would say that one that might be overlooked by students sometimes, but I feel it's important, is the one on Canadian culture. And just because a lot of times students are so, concentrated on those settlement tasks that they don't think about how they're feeling, what are the emotions that are happening with with the culture shock, and so it really helps to put some context to how they're feeling and making them feel like validate that this is a normal part of the experience. Some days you're going to feel happy, some days you're going to feel lonely or sad or homesick, and these feelings are okay, and this is part of the experience. And so I think that session kind of helps students navigate that.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
For me, probably would be the same 3 sessions that Marcella mentioned. However, one thing that I would note is that it's a lot of information to grasp by any student. So I would encourage anyone not to feel overwhelmed by the amount of information. ISS is always open to providing further information or explaining the same content that is shared during those sessions. So definitely the information that is provided on the workshops and webinars that we offer is essential for any student to know. However, rest assured that we will be able to provide further support once they get to Calgary. So don't feel overwhelmed by the amount of information that you're getting.
Definitely. Knowing that that support's there when you're on campus and you're starting out can help to kind of remove some of the stress of okay, I need to remember everything that's in this. I need to write all my notes. That's still important, but it helps to kind of know that you have that support on campus as well. And then there are many different ways for students to get involved in ISS through the different programs offered. I know one that stood out to me and one that you had kind of mentioned was the language sharing program. Are either of you able to speak a little bit more about what this program offers students?
Yeah. So this was one of the programs along with Global Families that during COVID got put on pause. Mm-hmm. And so we are excited to relaunch it this winter. And we've had our student staff, Lisa, who's worked really, really hard to come up with the proposal. And one of the new things that will be part of the program. So the program is essentially you get paired with another student if you want to practice a language. Or if you are proficient in a language, you can help a student to get better in that language. So it's about meeting once a week to practice that language. But one thing that is going to be added this year is the social programming part of it. So we want to make sure that students are meeting with one another that are in this program and able to have that opportunity to network. And we also are planning to have a cohort of, where students who are interested in a particular language, they can share resources among themselves.
Yeah, that sounds like a really cool program. And yeah, I just remember I was reading it on the website and I thought it was super cool. So Thank you so much. And then kind of wrapping up the arrival period, are there any additional services offered on campus that you feel international students could really benefit from getting involved in? So I know that the University of Calgary has a lot of different services available to its students. Are there any ones that stand out to you as ones that could really benefit international students in particular?
I think, Luis, you can speak to this because you are quite involved in on campus.
Yeah, so I would say there's definitely a space for everyone. Whatever you're looking for, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to find a space where you can further know about, a particular topic or just develop a set of skills and aptitudes that, you're aiming to further develop. I would say that for me, the most impactful and meaningful places that I have had the chance to interact at are not only ISS, but also the Faith and Spirituality Center. The center is open to any person of any spirituality, or even if they're not spiritual, it's open for everyone to just engage in different community building activities. The Women's Resource Center is also an incredible place for people to volunteer. We have the Q Center, which is for people from the queer community and allies to also connect with one another. So I would also say that there's over 300 clubs on campus run by the Students' Union. So definitely, if you're looking for a club that, it's about Harry Potter, you'll definitely find one about Harry Potter. If you're thinking of one that's about, puzzles or about, something interactive, I'm pretty sure you'll find one that it's, about that particular activity. And also there's great student associations that represent students within the university. So the opportunities are there. Don't feel, overwhelmed by all this, information that you're getting. It's something that students will slowly get involved in, but there's countless of opportunities that I would say students should definitely be looking for.
Yeah, it's definitely those clubs. We have
Yeah.
so many and they're student run, so it's just another connection opportunity, I feel, to kind of find your group on campus. Definitely the clubs are a big one that I always am like, go and check out the clubs, go to clubs week, all that kind of stuff. And then I know we've been talking a lot about prospective students, so pre-arrival and arrival international students, but are there other supports that are available for international students throughout their entire degree? Are there different ways for international students to get involved with ISS throughout their entire 4 or 5, even 6 years on campus?
I would say the mentorship program is a great way to get involved. If you yourself have been an international student and you want to be a peer, offer the peer support to someone who is brand new to the country, to the city. I think that's a great opportunity. We have a digital badge program, so anybody who successfully completes the goals of the program will receive a virtual digital badge, and this can be actually shared through Twitter. So it is a really nice opportunity for you to show your aptitudes that you acquired in the program. I think we are planning to relaunch as well our volunteer program. That was something else that was put on hold. So whenever we do relaunch that program, I would hope that people would join that program as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would add also the professional opportunities that ISS offers for students. So I am a co-op student right now at the office, so that's an opening that should be available in the future for any student enrolled in the co-op program. But we also have 2 other student staff members that help us, carry out all the different activities that we offer. So if anyone is looking for not only getting professional experience, but further developing their own leadership skills, ISS is an office that definitely has a space for you.
Yeah, definitely. Well, this has been amazing, you guys. Thank you so much for coming on today to the Choose UCalgary podcast. And to just wrap up all of the final thoughts and everything like that, what's the best way to connect with International Student Services and start speaking with the different advisors about coming to UCalgary as an international student?
So we are very accessible through our email. So that's generally the first point of contact is you can email us. Once you arrive, we will be here. We're conveniently located where the food court is. So if you're ever dropping by to Mac Hall for some coffee, some food, you can stop by our office. We don't have, unfortunately, drop-in appointments for immigration just because of the high volume of people. So you would have to book that ahead of time. But usually Isabel and myself for transition appointments, we are available, either same-day appointment. You can walk in, and if we are free, we will definitely take the time. And Luis is also very helpful and very friendly, and we're all very welcoming, so you can just come in and chat and have a conversation with us. We have a really nice lounge area as well that you can just come hang out with your friends if you're not looking to be in the kind of busy food court area and you just want some quiet time or chill out with your friends. You can come by too.
Yeah, we also have a front desk person that help us, Kathy. Sometimes myself will be at the front desk, so any questions that any student has, they can just drop by our office and we'll be able to guide them through the different resources or just point them out as to, where would they be able to book an appointment with us.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of different ways to connect, online and in person. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast today, you guys. It's really, really appreciated, and I'm sure international students are going to love listening to this one. So thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you again for listening to the Choose UCalgary podcast. If you would like to connect with the International Student Services, please click the link in our show notes to learn more. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at choose.ucalgary and on Facebook at University of Calgary Future Students. If you have any questions, please send us a DM.